How y'all doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm coming on real quick. Talk to y'all. Real quick. Oh, I guess I should put this in while no one is on yet. So if you guys give me a second, if you just happen to be watching this on the replay, I am just simply typing in the title on my business page. If you're not liking my business page yet, it's Aloma Life Coaching or Aloma Solutions. Okay, so basically what I wanted to come on and talk to you about was yesterday I did a post and it was talking about, I actually did a TikTok video and it was talking about dating with a purpose. I'm going to talk about that for a second, but let me also say this. Inside the comments here, up here, I have put the name of my new group, Pursuit of Self. If you find yourself, I'm just going to put that there. I hope that's the right one. If you find yourself interested in a group that is all about spiritual growth, all about self-love and growth in and of itself, that is the group for you, okay? Okay, so anyway, yesterday I posted a video and it was a TikTok video that was talking about dating with a purpose, how when that is your main focus, you are so busy focusing on, when it says dating with a purpose and your purpose is solely for marriage, okay? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with dating with, with a goal at the end, such as marriage or a committed relationship. However, when that is your main focus, when every time you go into a dating situation, you're not even paying attention to the current situation, you're just looking at the future. You're trying to see who it is and how they're going to be your husband or your wife, that you're not paying attention to the things that's happening right here in front of you. And so we miss so many different things in that. In the right here and right now, you miss the red flags, you miss the personality flaws, you miss the characteristics that are a deal breaker for you, because you're so focused on the wedding, right? You're so focused on who's going to be, in your house, what your baby's going to look like, and all this different thing, how you're going to floss on Facebook and on social media. You focus on all of that stuff. You're not focusing on the important thing. And in that video, I was talking about how instead of dating with the purpose, like I said, that's perfectly fine. Dating within your head that, there is an outcome that I would like to happen. But instead, if you date with the purpose of collecting data from people that you meet, and meet people on the terms of where they are, who they are right now, without projecting ahead, you don't have an opportunity to attach your emotions to someone. But that's when dating becomes so when dating becomes so heart-aching and heartbreaking and boring, and I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of the same type of people. It's because you are focusing on too far in the future, and then when you come back to the present, you're surprised that the person who's there with you is not the person who you have imagined them to be, right? So that's what the post was all about yesterday. It was all about, instead of dating with the purpose, with a focus solely on this one thing, how about dating to get to know a person, to get information? And that way, as you collect data and things progress further along, then you have a better blueprint to look at as far as deciding whether or not this is going to be the person that you want to spend your life with, right? Okay, that's the synopsis of that. What I'm coming on today for is because there's another group of people out there, not just the ones who's dating for a purpose, that they're so focused on that end result that they're overlooking what's happening right now. There's another group of people, and that's why I named this, Who Are You Fooling, right? Now, most of the times when we have these issues with dating, a lot of the times what happens is we get tired of people coming on phony and fake, and we get our heart broken, and we go through all of these things, and we think this is the one, and they turn out not to be the one, and we feel like we've wasted all this time, or we get into the relationship and we find out that's not what we wanted. And we go through all of this heartbreak just to think that we have to start back over again, right? So in this group of people, what's happening is they have had their heart broken. And I know heartbreak is a mug. Heartbreak is a serious thing, right? But we get to a point where we've gone through that cycle so many times, we are now dating to not get hurt, right? A lot of us don't admit it. A lot of us don't realize it. But a lot of us are dating so that we don't get hurt. Now, what does that look like? That looks like settling for somebody that you know you don't want to commit to, because if they leave, it ain't going to hurt so much, right? So you're settling from somebody because you're afraid of that heartbreak. Like I say, it may not be in the front of your mind, but it's back there. Or another way that it would look would be as soon as you get to a serious spot inside the relationship, you find a reason to break up. And that reason can be something as simple as, he asked me to pay a tip. He asked me to change my clothes. He asked me to, and these can be just innocent things, but we look at it and we blow it up into something so much bigger because now we need an excuse to get out of it because we're going in too deep. And if I fall into that space again, I have a chance of getting my heart broken. So I'm going to find any reason whatsoever to get out of this relationship. It's not up here. It's not out front, but it's back here. That fear of that heartbreak keeps you dating for the purpose of not falling in love, really. That's what it is. The first one was about dating with this purpose of marriage when you're so unfocused. But then this one, which is on the other end of the spectrum, is dating so that you don't get hurt. And you never really get to that point where you connect with a person because you're so afraid of that heartbreak that you experienced a year ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it was. And so you're out here pretending, you're out here saying, man, I want to date, I want to find somebody. And every time you find someone, every time you end up with someone, it's always someone you don't want to commit to. It's always someone who you find something wrong with when it gets closer to when those feelings start really getting involved. You find some reason. This is when you start going through trying to find reasons to break up with people, or thinking that things are happening, like they're doing something to break up with you, or you do things to make them break up with you. Unconsciously, it's happening if you always find yourself getting out of a relationship just as you feel like just as it was getting serious. That fear of that heartbreak has you stalled. It has you stalled on that edge. So I wanted to bring this to your attention. If this is something that you find yourself doing, or a place that you often find yourself, is to take a look at what's really happening. Is this infraction really an infraction, or is it something in your imagination that's keeping you from moving further into an emotional attachment so that your heart don't get broken? Like I said, I know heartbreak is a mug. It don't feel good. It can mess up your whole, it feels like it mess up your whole life. It can mess up your diet. It can mess up your concentration. It can mess up your flow. It can mess up so many different things. And when we fall into it, a lot of times we get that feeling like we can't recover if we have to go through this again. The truth of the matter is, you can always recover. Why can you recover? Because most of the times when we go through a heartbreaking breakup or some situation like that, the reason we last in it so long is because we have become so familiar with the feeling of hurt, and or we are mourning an emotion that we attach to someone that is ours, that we can always pull back. So there's always a way to move through the heartbreak. Don't ever think that I'm not going to get in a relationship because I don't want my heart broken. Because if your heart is not in that space to be broken, are you in the relationship that you want to be in? Or are you just settling for something that's easy? Something that's okay. If he leaves, he leaves. I'm going to be okay and I can just move on to my next thing or whatever. Or are you in a relationship where you say, this person is, this person has my heart. And if anything happens to this relationship, it's going to move me in some type of way. Being moved in some type of way is okay. That's the part of our heart. Our heart is built to take it, even though it feels like it don't. Even though we feel like it's going to tear us to pieces. But like I said, if it comes to a point where you feel like that, those 2 reasons that I gave you are usually the reason behind it. And you can always, 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 always change that. If you're going through something right now where you feel like you're going through a heartbreak and you can't get over, I guarantee you can get over it. Because if you're broken up, if a person broke up with you or you broke up with a person, it's because of some reason, right? It's because of some reason. And when you look at that reason for what it truly is, you're able to see how to maneuver around it, and how to see how that reason is a lesson, how to see that that reason is an experience, how to see that that reason is the steps that are going to lead you to the one that is for you, right? When we get to that point, we're able to see that, and it's no longer like, I'm afraid to go through this because it's going to hurt so bad. When we realize that every experience that we go through, everything that we experience is either going to be an experience or a lesson. And when we can take away from and know that that lesson is going to propel us forward, it is no longer the fear so much attached to it. Okay? That is why I want to jump on today and just push this out front for you. Then with the purpose of, with the sole purpose of marriage, that you've lost sight of the here and now because you're so focused on the wedding. That's one end of the spectrum. And dating so that you don't have to break up, where you're settling for any and everything because you know that you're not going to be attached to it and it won't hurt if anything goes wrong. Those two ends of the spectrum. If you missed any of this, rewind the video, go back. It's still going to be there, y'all. I think it's important to hear so that you won't find yourself, if you are truly wanting to be with someone, if you truly want a companion, if you truly want a mate, take a couple of minutes to listen to this. Go back through this and listen to this and see if you're falling somewhere in between, you know, on any edge of that spectrum. Because I promise you, once you realize where you are on the spectrum, that's when you can kind of break free and move forward. I put the link to my new group, Pursuit of Self, up here on top of this video. Click that link, see if it's something that you'll be interested in joining us over there, on a little bit more, I guess, more spiritual type stuff, more healing and self-growth type stuff. And I also put the link to the Release Renew Cruise Retreat that is still going on. It's still happening at this point. Click the link, get all the information, get all the details. It gives you the link to your down payment, and it also gives you a link to your first payment, which is due around now, right? If you have any questions about any of the things that I've talked about, if you have any questions about the group, the Pursuit of Self group, if you have any questions about the Release Renew Cruise Retreat, hit me up in the comments here. I don't see any comments or anything here right now, so I will be definitely checking back this video to see if anything pops up. And I'm going to leave you with that. You guys take care of yourself and take care of each other, because we're all connected, and I will definitely see you guys on the other side.